Hey everyone, Deadpine here. Welcome back to HardCore Tarkov Season 3 rule set video here. And we got a really spicy set this time. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Let's go. All right, here we go. We're just going to dive right in. We got a little bit to go over here. So, rule number 1, the classic hardcore rule, delete your entire inventory. Yes, that means your alpha container, and we are keeping it to standard account only for my specific rule set this wipe. Less space, it's kind of a pain, but it makes it more interesting, as well as it means you don't have to have all those caveats for the gamma container moving forward there. So, and this wipe, and this season, particularly season 3, I've introduced some role playing. We set up a role play scenario here with all the yellow text. These rules will be, you can access these rules down below with the link. But if you want to go peruse and read the finer details, but essentially when you get to Tarkov, Tagilla and Killa beat you up and take your stuff. That's your starting inventory, and you have a quest to get revenge on them, not just by killing them, but by regaining your prestige and whatnot through the world of Tarkov. But you start with nothing, so that flavor kind of goes all the way through. That role play scenario kind of goes all the way through. It's a very small one. It's not like we're going to be talking about this throughout the entire season. It's just one of those giving context to why we're doing what we're doing with some of the rules. Not all of them have flavor rules. Most of them do. So anyway, moving right along. That's rule 1. Delete your starting inventory. Rule 2. We are going to be like we did last season. We're going to be only placing items into the pouch container from your hideout. Nothing can be put in during raids. So if you want that key, you got to get out with it. But you can also put loose ammo in it. You can put meds in it. You can put a docs case in it. Whatever can fit in there from your inventory, you're more than welcome to. Once it's out of the container in raid, can't put it back in. If you're in a raid, if it's out of your container, you cannot put it back in. So, unless of course you make a mistake. Like if I accidentally move something, I'm going to move it back in. But like if I take out meds to hotkey and med, can't put that back in. Stuff like that. I just like the way this plays, especially with the smaller container, because we're not going to be unlocking the gamma at all, and most likely not getting to kappa. So it's, yeah, I just really like the way this rule plays. It gives you incentive to get out if you get like a really valuable key that you want to protect in the future. If you get something really nice that you can put in there in the future. This is just I wish this was honestly in the base game because I really like the way this plays in raid. So this is one of our few no real flavor here, just mechanics to make it more interesting. But anyway, rule number 3. So this wipe guns from scavs come with much less durability, and they've worked in the misfiring system, and guns are way less accurate with less durability. So scav guns that you pick up actually have really low durability. So repairing guns is actually really relevant. So no repairing guns until workbench level 1, and no repairing armor until you have level 2 ragman and your workbench level 1. You need a place to work, and you need the knowledge for those. And ragman level 2 is like level 17 or so. It's actually pretty relevant because you will get some beat up armors that you can't repair. Of course, once you unlock it, ratchet up from last season, ratchet up, you'll be able to get there. And again, more flavor here. You're getting started in a new zone is tough. You need to find a place to work, your workbench. You need to make some connections. You have some general ideas on how to repair armor, but you don't know how to repair all the armor. It's only the armor you've used in the past as a PMC. So you need to make some contacts with Ragman to learn how to repair the armors of the Tarkov zone. So that's a bit of flavor there. Good stuff. All right. Moving on. Rule number 4. This is the big one. This wipe was all about scav runs, scav karma, and everything. So I actually sat down with my chat one day on the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Deadpine. You should definitely check us out there. And we kind of brainstormed. We're like, hey, how can we make scav runs part of our hardcore play, our hardcore scenario, our role play? And this is what we came up with. Now, spoiler, I actually played with this rule set for like a month, and we're redoing this. I know, I'm sorry. But I decided to restart because YouTube delays and all that stuff. I'm not going to ramble about that. But this actually plays really nicely. It's a bit of a grind, but it's a good, fun grind. So here we go. Every scav run costs 100k rubles, or the equivalent in euro and dollars. This does a couple things. 1, scav runs aren't free. You're probably going to lose money on them. It's a money sink. 2, it gives those use for the dollars. I don't know if you remember from last season or season 2. If you haven't watched, it's pretty good. You can watch it on the YouTube channel. Dollars were useless. You couldn't do anything with them. Euros had a few things, And rubles are obviously, you can buy containers and stuff like that. And euros had the iCase purchase, I guess you could say. But the dollars were kind of useless past a few quests and a very few hideout upgrades. Using them for scav runs is going to be perfect. So giving a use to dollars was a really fun, like, extra bonus in this. So this is the most complicated rule of this rule set. So if you're another content creator or another player doing this, this is the hardest one to do, to like keep track of, this rule number 4 here. So your scav has to keep all of their starting gear. So when they go into a raid, they'll have a knife, they'll have a gun, they'll have a rig, they'll have a backpack. You have to give all of that back to them. Gun, rig, bag, mags, armor, clothing, and the loose ammo that they spawn with. You have to give that back. Everything else that spawns on them, you can keep. So meds, things in the backpack. The idea here being you're hiring the scav to go out and find you loot, and you gave them a call in the middle of their looting session, and they said, all right, 100K, and I'll give you the stuff I've already got on this session. That's the idea. Yeah, so it's it's a bit hard to keep track of. We're not going to like follow this to a T. We are going to follow this to a T, but like don't be afraid to change this up or just say I'm going to keep all this scav run. 100K rubles is enough for me to take it all. This is just what I came up with to make it more fair, more balanced, more reasonable, and to fit that flavor of you're hiring the scav. The scav is using his gear to get you stuff. He keeps his gear, but gives you the stuff that you hired the scav to do. That's the idea. That's the idea. You can purchase items from Fence when your scav reaches level 20. That's a big grind. Getting to level 20 is very hard to do when you're paying 100K a pop. So that's not going to be for a long time. And the idea here being you can't really buy stuff from Fence. That's useful, really. He doesn't really sell much good ammos, many good ammo pieces. He doesn't sell any good guns because it's all scav guns that are crap durability. But when you hit level 6, he does start giving you things that were not insured that were left on maps. So we could potentially get some late game kits with that. But getting level 6 scav rep is one of the major goals of this playthrough. So that's not going to be until the very, very end of the actual hardcore roleplay scenario season 3 here. So maps will be available based on Fence rep. So this is the other big caveat here. So less than 1 rep, he doesn't trust you. You can't go anywhere. He doesn't let you hire his scavs to work for him. So you have to use the paid car extracts as a PMC. Not going to be able to do that right away. I played with this rule set already. It was a bit of a grind. It's really fun. And then you get to go on each map based on rep. Now, we didn't do this based on flavor. We kind of did this based on what would be the most difficult map to gain scav rep on. I know Factory could be good to kill players on, but it's actually pretty tough to do any good looting on, which is kind of what we did it by. So loot-wise, I feel like these last two are the best higher-end scav loot areas back forward. That's how I see it. You can obviously get good loot on any map as a scav, but most bang for your buck for 100K would probably be reserved. Anyway, so in order, we're going to do, well, you need to get 1 rep with Fence, then you can go to Factory. 2 rep with Fence, you can go to Factory or Customs. Getting level 2 also reduces that entry fee by 20%. So we are going to give you a less of a grind as it goes, because 100K per run is going to be a lot. So as time goes on, you'll ratchet up, you'll get more loyalty with him, and he'll be like, all right, your fee is this because you're my friend. So 20% each time, so it goes to 80K or equivalent. It's like $640, I think, US, depending on what the power of the dollar is at the time. You'll see me do the math on the recordings. So, and then Woods, then Shoreline, then Interchange, then Reserve. Once you get to level 6 rep, which is going to be the goal, or max rep is going to be the goal, it's going to be free to use your scav, and we're probably going to be scavving a lot just to get max rep, which I think is 8. That's going to be one of the major goals of this. We'll say that down below. So this is all the flavor that I was just talking about. Fence doesn't trust you. He overcharges you in the beginning. And as you build up a reputation with him, repertoire with him, he reduces the cost, and all that good stuff. And then maybe he even starts selling you stuff. So you work with a shady guy, but it works out in the long run because you can only work with so many people. So that's really cool. All right, moving on. That's the big rule. That number 4 is the big one for this season. Everything else is kind of similar to the last few seasons. So, all right, here we go. No insurance, straight up. In the past, we've had that unlocked at a certain point. It's too OP. It's too OP. It's worth the cost in hardcore because you just get back certain things that are just super powerful. The pouch container should be able to protect most of the important items. And yeah, that's just how it goes. So no insurance straight up. Basically the dealers don't trust you. They don't want to insure with you. They don't trust you. You've gotten a bad rep from Tagilla and Killa. They don't trust you. Like I said, I would recommend reading all of these at your leisure. All the yellow text is the flavor. So, all right, here we go. Number 6, no purchasing from dealers or the flea market. Kind of the same thing. The dealers don't trust you, and the flea market is a physical area where you're barred from. So dealers don't trust you. You can't go to the flea market, but you've learned about maybe maybe a different trading bazaar that has bartering. So that's the flavor of like why you can barter versus not be able to purchase. You can't go and purchase stuff in the main flea market area where the dealers are, but you can go to this shadier secondary place to meet up and barter for stuff. Or maybe it was online. Oh no, sorry, it was an online website. Yeah. You could get it from an online website. That was the flavor of that one. So, but one of the new rules with this one is Intel level 1, which was last season, but we also made it you have to have rep 2 or more with the person to be able to barter them. So you have to make them trust you in order to get the barters going with them. So that's a bit different and definitely slows things down at the beginning. Barters are really powerful. So I like the idea of making those first, like, I don't know, 20 or to 30 or 40, even 40 raids feel like, okay, I'm only using stuff I'm finding in raid for longer. Because in the past it's been, all right, find some stuff, hit some barters. I got a backlog of guns just because I have so many barters down the line there. So the level 2 rep or more makes it harder to barter with. Also makes turning in certain tasks interesting because the rep is really hard to gain during this wave. So makes for some interesting choices. The classic, you have to be able to buy specialty items to complete the game. Cases and containers. This is not a classic rule. I had this in here because even with the Edge of Darkness account, not having space kind of stresses me out. I'm actually a little worried about the standard account because it does stress me out a little bit. But I think being able to buy cases and containers is just makes the game more fun for me. So that's really in there for me. If you want an extra challenge, don't be able to buy cases and containers. Only be able to craft or barter for them. Go for it, And of course, you could always convert between the currencies. So yeah, so you're barred from the main trading bazaar to get Admiral's guns. There's a similar used trading, smaller, less used trading area that you can get to. Yeah, that will let you exchange currencies, stuff like that, and you can do some bartering with, which is really fun. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something there. No, I'm not. Okay, let's go on. Number 7, pouch container uses hands, no flavors, just mechanics. That's how it's always been. It comes up very rarely, and we're not even going to be starting with a pouch container. So, like, by the time we get a pouch container, we're probably going to have a steady supply of bags. This almost isn't even a rule, but just it's there just as in case. Okay, no after raid healing except on death. I actually posted this from Pestly's playthrough. Is a really clean way of doing it. It prevents you from being on a death loop, so you can't actually raid in the beginning because it's free to heal. And then later on, it just kind of takes this thing away from dying when you don't have meds, and it means I can get back into raid if we die. That's about it. But only if you die, or only if you die, and that covers like 99% of the cases. There's like 1% of edge cases where we get screwed with like a heavy bleed or something like that, and then we'll just go into raid and die, and then heal, and it'll be fine. So that covers a lot of it. So then this is you're barred from the meds, or there's the bed stations only treat the critically wounded there. That's the idea there. So you have to learn how to patch yourself up. That's the flavor. That one, small flavor, little tiny flavor. No outside help from friends and content creators, communities. This includes any gifts from the system messages / drop events. So can't get drops. No Christmas presents. Prepper gives you some stuff in the beginning. Can't take that. You got to delete it. It doesn't fit with the theme. And then duos are fine if both players are following a similar rule set and agree beforehand. I'm personally okay with playing with the classic HardCore rule set. If they are okay with playing with me, probably not going to happen this way. It's just in there just in case. So yeah, swore it was a solo mission unless you find a friend who's like in the similar scenario that Tagilla and Killa beat up. That's the flavor behind that one. Again, I had fun writing these yellow texts. You should check it out. Only play with the left-hand time slot. That's a pretty classic rule. This does include the scav runs because we're getting scav runs in there. That does include your scav runs. So you see a lot of nighttime raids. I'm sorry, it'll be dark, but that's just how Tarkov is. We can actually get a lot done on the nighttime raids, but there's also some things that we can't do in nighttime raids. Just like there's some things we can't do in daytime raids. So I really like this rule. Forces you to play the both the time slots and not really have factor. Factory you can use anytime just because that's annoying to keep track of. So, that one's funny. You may not examine items. This is a new one. This is like a, I don't know, half as effective, or I don't know, new as rule number 4. This is the big one, but like half as big. You cannot examine items from the dealers or in your hideout. And what I mean by in your hideout, I don't mean in your stash. I mean in your hideout where you craft stuff or are trying to look for stuff. You can only examine items in raid or from your stash. And then I had to put some caveats there because otherwise you wouldn't be able to barter for anything. So this does not include cases, keys, and key items. So jammers, multi-tool, etc. Basically, you need to find at least it once to be able to barter for it. So we actually ran into this on that kind of like pseudo playthrough that I just did. The 50 rounder MP5 mag. Got to find one. Can't really barter for it. But if you find one, examine it, and then die, sure, go ahead and barter for it because you know what it is. And the idea here is you don't want to get ripped off when you're bartering online. So you don't want to get ripped off. So you have to know what you're bartering for before you do it. Same with the hideout. You can't just craft something blindly and figure it out. I made a defibrillator without knowing what it was prior. So it'll slow certain things up for sure. But it also makes finding certain items more exciting. So that's it. That's the rule set there. We're going to go over the goals in just a second. But yeah, pretty straightforward. I was trying to keep it really, really straightforward. I know this part's a little bit not straightforward, but that's the only way I could think of to get the scav runs in there earlier than just scav case. Have fun when you're doing that. Like, that's just like a too long of a grind and then too long of a grind after that. I wanted to be more integrated, more fluid with the playthrough. So, but that's the big one because of the scav rep. So, all right, let's go over the goals for Season 3. So we're trying to complete, I might caveat this to not all tasks, but as many tasks as we can by the end of the wipe, not including Stylish 1, not including the Collector, because it's level 71 this wipe, so it's pretty tough. I'm actually going to edit this on the fly here. That's going to be level 8 Fence Reputation, because I thought level 6 was the max when I made this sheet. It's not. It's level 8. Or we'll be going for that. And then, of course, always maxed out Hideout, even if we don't need it. But yeah, make sure you join us live, twitch.tv/Deadpine. All it's going to be up to the YouTube. And like I said, this is the number one thing, everybody. It's about having fun. It's about challenging yourself. It's about playing how you want to play. Feel free to change up the rule set. Let me know what you got going on in the comments. I would love to hear about it. I get people all the time coming in saying, hey, I'm doing a no flea market challenge. I'm like, that's great. Because it really enhances your gameplay. If you've been playing a couple wipes and you want to enhance your gameplay, adding some, mismatch rules from everybody else's challenges and playing how you want to play it, challenge yourself how you want to challenge yourself. It's a really fantastic time. All right. Anyway, that's been the rules video for Season 3 of HardCore Tarkov. I'll see you guys in the first raid.